Beautiful good afternoon to everybody. It's a gorgeous day, so I've been very busy this morning and now this afternoon, and I'm still working. So I've been cutting back some of the birch and the cottoniaster around the front door and the veranda and the porch, and I've been painting. So I finished painting the front door here. You can see it's all done. And I've done some of the paintwork just up as far as I can go at the moment. And then I went and got a different pot of paint, which is the garden wood preservative. It's a water-based one. So I've been doing the porch, and you can see now just the difference it makes. This is the side that hasn't been done. And you can see, of course, in there, I'll just do a little close-up of where the wood is starting to show through. And some of the branches of the cottoniaster was actually rubbing against the wood. So I've cut a little bit of it back, just as much as I need to, just to squeeze in there. And I've pulled up all the crocosmia. So I've got a bit of stuff now to add to the compost heap. And just going strong really at the moment. Also done some cutting back on the willow. One of my grandsons came up to help me, so between us we've got quite a bit cut back, and all this is going to go round to the barn now, and I will be jigsawing this up. I'm going to walk down the drive just for a moment because I've moved the bird feeders. I've moved the bird feeders down along the drive just to spread them out, because I did have them here at the front, and I thought what I'd do is I'd just spread them out. I've left one over there, and you can see the birds are on it, and I'll just show you now where I've put the rest. So it is just a gorgeous day, absolutely lovely. So I've put one bird feeder here, hanging down from this, what was a Lelandii, but I allow it to grow as a tree because it gives me great stuff for using in the compost toilet. Now you can see just where the sun is shining on the other bird feeders. So it just, especially during the winter, you know, when the birds can get very hungry and can start fighting over food, you know, as all sentient beings, you know, do in times of hunger. So I've hung these on different trees. This one is on a little blackthorn tree. The next one is on a little hawthorn tree. These are the days of long shadows. Look how long my shadow is there when the sun is low on the horizon. See all the little birds here queuing up, waiting to get on the feeder. The days of long shadows and midwinter work. I'm thrilled really that we've had these few good days, because the winters here in Ireland, in the west of Ireland, can be quite wet. Sometimes can be quite wet. And in fact, more often than not, can be quite wet. So to be able to get the wood preserved, whether it's with gloss paint on the front door or wood preservative on the porch, on the rest of the wood, the shiplap wood as it's called. So I'm just picking up little bits of branches to throw in there. It gives me great comfort to know that I'm bending up and down picking up this wood from the willow. There's the other one, you see, look. You see the little birds all queuing up. I'll just pick up these bits of willow and I'll show you what we've been cutting. Of course, still quite a mess here, but I'll get it all sorted. So let me just throw that in there. So there was some very tall willow trees. They'd grown into trees along the edge of the pond. So we've taken those down, we've coppiced them, because of course the willow regrows, very happily it regrows. Got one more left to do, and that's the three or four stem piece just up there by the western red cedar. So this is about providing fuel for next year, because last night I was sat in the studio in the lodge, and it was so lovely and warm, and I was burning willow that I'd cut last year, and that Simon, one of my patrons, Bealtaine Cottage, came over from France, and he stayed for a few days, and he worked so hard here on the land, getting coppicing done and helping me, you know, just basically do now what my grandson's been helping me with this morning, except an awful lot more, because there was no stopping Simon in his endless, boundless energy to work here at Bealtaine Cottage. So appreciated, and that was great. Because of course it's all about harvest, and this is what I said years ago, you know, when people ask me, well, how much food do you grow, and etc. I said, well, everything's a harvest. We really need to stop looking at the earth as what she can give us, you know, food. It's a harvest for everyone. And when I say everyone, I mean all the birds and the mammals and everything that lives here. It's a harvest for all of us. So whether it's berries or mushrooms or wood for the stove or little twigs like this to build nests, you know, for the birds, everything is a harvest. So another big piece of willow just up there at the end of the pond. So the willow grows very fast, and I remember when I first came back to Ireland, and of course primarily for me it was about earth restoration and planting trees, and besides which, you know, I just didn't have the money or the funds at all to do up the cottage or renovate the cottage in the way I would have liked to. I would have liked to have done lots of things in the cottage, but for me what was more important was the earth and doing this. So in the early days, you know, there was a lot of, oh, something dived in there. What on earth was that? I didn't see, I just heard the splash. Must have a look back on the video. In the early days there was a lot of people who would leave comments on the videos and on the website about the willow. Oh, you know, you can't really burn willow because it's a wet wood and it takes too long to dry out. Well, I would suggest actually that a lot of people sort of reiterate anecdotal evidence. It's not real evidence that they've discovered through experience. And so through my experience growing willow, it has an incredible growth rate. It actually really likes to be coppiced, because then you get multi-stems coming up. As long as it's logged up into little, you know, burnable size logs, it will dry out relatively quickly if put in a sheltered spot, and of course it all goes into my barn. And within 12 months or less, it's good to put on the stove. There's something in there. What is it? Is it a little water rat? It's a little water rat. Oh, look at that. It's just... I don't know if you can see. That's what the wee splish splosh was. Oh, W.B. Yeats mentions the water rats in one of his poems. I think it's Come Away, O Human Child. And the water rats, the drowsy water rats. That was a little water rat. See, I just noticed actually this morning. Look at this beautiful little hole there. Isn't that incredible? That's a little water rat. Home. Little home. So all these beautiful creatures, of course, have a place here at Bealtaine. I welcome them all. Just so beautiful to see. Reminds me of The Wind in the Willows and Beatrix Potter and all those beautiful stories that made us all less afraid of Mother Earth. Because of course most of the stories make us afraid of her. There's another wee splish splash up there. Look at that. How beautiful. The drowsy water rats. I must look out that poem and read it. Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild, with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. So, on this beautiful day, and now of course you can see the birds up and down the driveway, look, flitting backwards and forwards, up and down. Isn't that wonderful? So, blessings to you all on this beautiful day. On this blessed, beautiful day. Eh, Jack? He's molting. Look. Look at all the fur coming out. He's molting, leaving big messes for Mummy all over the cottage. But you know what I do with his fur now? The molty bits. Stay still and let me just pull out a little bit here. Let me just pull out a little bit. Look at this. Look, see. Now, what I do, I throw them down into the hedgerow, right? And the little birds take the pieces to line their nests. Make them nice and warm. You see, even Jack gives a little bit of a harvest. Don't you, Jack? He says, I love watching those little birdies, but I love watching cars even more. Yes, Mummy. Blessings to you all, my friends. Have a lovely weekend.